Yes, the same Sons of Odin the FBI had me look into by name. And while doing so in Kokomo, Delphi, Peru, Richville, Delphi, especially, Kokomo, especially, while looking into the Sons of Odin, I found, I believe it's called Tires or Tears, Indiana Hellhounds, a Nordic pagan kindred. This is the exact one Brad Holder, his ex-wife Amber Holder, Jesse, and the other uh, four individuals named. They belong to Tears Hellhounds of Indiana, a kindred. And this reminds me of something on the 14th. Brad Holder said he did the Tuaz symbol, which is actually for that Nordic god that his kindred belongs to. And what this rune represents is uh, multiple things like justice, just like the god of justice, which is their kindred, is what that belongs to. Is Tyrs was the god of justice in the Nordic religion, and his runes would mean anything from justice, warriors coming together, among other things. Look it up, but wanted to bring that up. And yes, I've been saying from the very beginning the Sons of Odin had involvement within the girl's death. But I want you to remind yourselves, and I want you to think hard about what I'm saying right now. There's two different sects. You've got wannabes like Gabriel Ellis, Cal Stacy, Keegan K. Ellis, Megan Allen, Rodell, that were said by a mother of one of these girls. Their boyfriend was in with Gabe Ellis. You got ones that live, breathe, and eat, sleep the Nordic lifestyle, know everything from top to bottom about it. Then you got some that are trying to switch from being a little group that was buying Walmart merchandise or going to the mall and buying. At first, they were trying to make themselves out there in Kokomo to be the Sons of Silence, doing the same thing. I'm gonna go buy this shirt. I'm gonna go buy this jacket. No, I'm Sons of Silence. We're gonna have our own Sons of Silence motorcycle gang here in Indiana, like in Kokomo. But then you had Kyle Stacy and a few others. If you look at actually their Facebook profiles, Kyle Stacy, Gabe Ellis, and a few others were just starting into looking in towards this. Was just getting involved with it, trying to be the part. Now, how the blood was put on the tree, that is a rune in itself. And then the sticks that were put on the girls, how the girls' bodies were manipulated to put these runes in, is exactly that. There's runes. Why it would make the professor so confused? Would this have anything to do with the Nordic lifestyle? She she or he should have seen the runes, yes, but these runes alone on how and why they were put on the girls, certain runes could give out certain warnings, messages if they were read correctly. I'm in the process of going through the runes and actually Abby Libby, the ones on the tree, were they giving out messages? If you read all these messages correctly, Does it give a message when you look at all these runes put together? But how I know so much about this, like I said, down to I was asked to look into the Sons of Odin, which turned into some Vinlanders and a few others, but the group Brad Holder, Jesse, and them belong to is, like I said, Tears. It's Tyre apostrophe S, Hell, not the uh, regular Hell, but HEL, Hounds, Indiana. It's a Nordic pagan kindred that they belong to. But then, like I'm saying, you had some individuals that came in and are, like, mark my words, are involved, like Gabrielis and his little bunch that was trying to push and be the same thing. We are sons of Odin. We are Odinists. We are paganists. And do I see Brad and his group doing this and just doing the runes and no understanding what they meant or how to do like a sacrifice and actually show that they were properly doing a sacrifice? I can see Brad's group actually doing it, living, breathing, eating, sleeping it. But then you got some that just get to where they know the runes and a few other things, like Gabriel Ellis's group. They've already, in their minds, did a case where they became blood brothers. Then you have Gabe, at one time when he was in prison, in charge of a what? He had a major role for help bringing drugs into that prison with a white supremacist group. Um, if the defense did their job, looked all this up after what they found in state and local paperwork, this just did not fly out of like thin air, and they're just throwing it out there in the wind. If they threw it out in the correct way, we are seeing that there is a drug ring connected to a loosely bound group that tries to portray that they are paganist, cultists, like within this said group. If they would have done it the right way and did their research like I did as an FBI informant, you would have seen the 22 Vinlanders, this new kindred, among other things, if you knew where to look and how to look. I can tell you that they poked at Brad Holder and a few others, which for a long time was being looked at. But yet they didn't look in the right direction, if that makes sense. Like I said, Tears Hellhounds of Indiana is the pagan Nordic kindred that Amber, Brad Holder, those couple, Jesse, and a few others belong to. If they wanted to do a sacrifice, they would have actually done a sacrifice from start to finish. Like from the bloodletting, I've learned through my looking into all this for years as an FBI informant, they would have put the blood into a sacrificial bowl, and that would have been mead, among other things, that go back into how this is supposed to have been done sacrificial wise. If it was a sacrifice, there should have been bowls or a stack of rocks that they would have done as a group as part of the sacrifice. A stack of rocks, and that would end up being holding bowls that the blood would be led in. This is where ones like Brad Holder and his group, they would know and know how to do the steps But a group like Gabe Ellis's trying to come in to represent the same thing, they're going to do things their way. Oh, we know about this rune, what it means. We know about this, what it means rune wise. I could see the group really not knowing what they were doing, but thinking they knew what they were doing this the way it sounds like it's been done. But then you also got Gabe Ellis, not only with his uh, Odinist group, but his ties back to like the McClellan family. Nick McClellan's cousin, dealing for the same drug ring that he belongs to. You got Derek German dealing for the exact drug ring he was dealing for, supplying that area with, having motives, having done another crime 126 days beforehand, and then after that case, calling each other blood brothers. Like I said, I could see Brad's group doing the right way, but then another group that's trying to portray what they are not coming in and doing it all the messed up way. But yeah, I'm just wanting to do a quick live, but I want to do, and I'll go into a little bit deeper subject to this, but I've been seeing everybody butcher this apart. I do a lot more, including the Sons of Odin and other things I've named from day one. And there's a lot more that I've done from straight up looking in from it was at the time FBI was looking at it and got themselves involved was just the Sons of Odin. But it blew up and went into people's been calling on here tentacles. And some tentacles went this direction, got involved with like the Kokomo crew, the Kokomo drug ring. And then some tentacles would be involved with the actual uh, eating, breathing, living that lifestyle, like Brad and his group. They're trying to portray the same group, but yet there's two different sides to this. You got Gabe Ellis and his bunch that still show around Brad Holder. And it's probably where they got the idea from, where it comes from. Oh, we were trying to do the Sons of Silence stuff in Kokomo. It wasn't working because we're just buying the gear, but this is easier. We can actually live that life. And doing so, certain higher up individuals that start this group would hold power in the mindset and manipulation, the total just the mindset of not only this guy my boss like dealing and drugging wise, but now I'm getting to his group where he holds authority over me when it comes to the group wise. And it just I can go into this a whole lot longer, and I'm going to be doing so here later. But all these other not Facebook, YouTubers, they've been looking from the outside in. They're doing the same thing now. I've been talking about this group, and if I would have been able to give a platform from the very get go, hey, look at this group. This is why. Look at this uh, issue and why. And I'm about to be blowing a lot of these YouTubers that have been looking, like I said, from the outside in, not seeing from the inside of this hell screaming out, look here, this is why. Some of these same YouTubers have been trying to contact me. Hey, you've been talking about this from the very get go. Hey, you want to talk with us again? Why? You called me nuts. The Sons of Odin, the drug ring, things I was talking about had nothing to do with it. Then what's this? Indiana State Police, local PD, sheriff's detectives. We're looking at a certain direction, and why? And I'm not gonna lie to you. more than one person that was named. System I 1023 FBI informant files. This group came under the radar for a very good issue: domestic terrorism. Look it up. There was enough that drew attention from the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. There's a reason why. But just like if you try to start a fake motorcycle club, there's real ones that will shoot you down. Well, I think it's time for the real ones to start shooting these fake wannabe groups like Gabe Ellis's bunch. And yes, he had ties and still does. Some of his ones in Kokomo still have ties to the state with Brad Holden and a few others, which gave them the mindset of, hell, let's start a group like that but our own. I think it'd be nice for the ones that actually live, eat, sleep, breathe this. If the Indiana, uh, uh, what is it, Tears? Hellhounds of Indiana, if you had nothing to do with this, I think it's time to put on blast fake groups like Gabriel Ellis and his bunch that tried representing what you represent. If you had nothing to do with this, well, I think it's time to go on the firing in the other direction. Hey, this group that was running around trying to be what we are had nothing to do with this, but you might want to look their direction instead of looking at ours. And here's why. So, yeah, Brad, Jesse, and a few others, you had nothing to do with it. And if you knew about Gabe Ellis and his bunch running around trying to act like you, I think it'd be smart to actually start, instead of poking the finger, you got the heat coming on you. I think you should be going in the right direction. The group that has the motive, the ability, the reasoning, the who, what, why, where, yeah, who, what, when, where, and why. The 5 W's that can get convictions. You need to push and have them look in the right direction. If we were to do a sacrifice, this is how we would have done it. Human, animal, or not. This is how it's supposed to be done. If you didn't know what you were doing on an AK sacrifice to make it look like that, you're just trying to blood in your friends and not knowing what you're doing, like it seems what is being shown and said. Like Gabe Ellis's group would do, they would know what certain runes are and kind of the meanings to them, some messages behind them. I'm telling you, it sounds sacrificial, but at the same time, if you know anything about just getting into a group, not really understanding how things are done, or living, eating, sleeping, and breathing it, knowing how a sacrifice is supposed to be done. If you look up just yourselves, how is a human sacrifice within the Nordic pagan religion, a, how'd you call it? Holt, I think it's HOLT, is done, is by no way what was done. How Abby was done, if it was upside down and hung up, her leg, everything, is exactly how Odin himself was supposed to have been sacrificed. He sacrificed himself. And how they got her in the position she did is the position Odin died in. Spear to the neck, and how he was positioned and everything upside down. So the hangman, that whole thing, it goes back to Odin, how he died. But I'll go deeper into this subject and more into the subject here later on this evening. But don't be deceived on some of these YouTubers who are just now catching on to this and looking into this like, whoa, There's a lot more that they will never know or be able to prove to you. They may have like the 5, 6 thousand people plus, but the one person that's been speaking the truth to you didn't want anything to do with me back when they were telling me to shut up, kicked me off my lives, having a good old laugh about me. Oh, but now when it's something I've said, now they want me to talk to them, work with them, get them views. Oh, look at us. Oh, look what we know. Don't let them fool you. They're playing telephone just like they've always done for views, money, and subscribes. They're going to play the somebody's going to leave me a message on my answer machine, and I'm going to read this message off to you. How it reads to me. Look at me, look at me. Then you got people like me. Joint Terrorism Task Force, both domestic and foreign terrorism. I went against these groups and I know a hell of a lot more down to deep details, including the group Brad and his wife belong to. I'm going to show you what sounds real, what doesn't sound real, why this sounds real, but this doesn't, how the girls were done, and I'm going to let you food for thought. Move it in your mind. Was it a group that actually eats, sleeps, breathes it, and lives this lifestyle, knows how a sacrifice is done? Or was it a group that's wanting to try to act like they are such? Don't really understand what they were doing, like Gabe Ellis and his bunch. Play it over your mind. And when we get back, I'll probably do a longer live this evening. And before then, we are going to go over, I'm going to do a short video where I can do my screen recording. I'm going to go over a few things that none of these YouTubers, like I say, are going to be able to understand, let alone articulate, say the correct way, know what you're talking about, instead of just trying to play pickup. Oh, the ball's been dropped in front of them. They're going to pick this ball up, not understanding what they're talking about. Oh, that might be Brad and his group. They knew the other ones that were trying to be like them, through friends they were friends with, their friends are friends with, still to this day. And it makes me wonder if this other group, like Gabe and his buddies, chose the cult activity to further hide. Oh, hey, we're not part of that. We don't know what you're talking about. Just to throw off to keep them safe in the long run. Makes you wonder. But we're going to go over a few things. And these YouTubers trying to play catch up, this is something I've talked about and I know a lot about. For years now, I've been trying to say, hey, look at this. And these same YouTubers say, oh, don't look at that. There's nothing to see there.